Welcome, everyone. This is Up Your Rank FPL. We are your hosts. I'm AC. That's Bri bringing you another episode, this time around Game Week 8 review. If you guys are new around here, or if you've been liking the content and you haven't hit that subscribe button, what are you waiting for? Give this video a like, smash that subscription button, as well as share it with your FPL friends. Follow us on Twitter at UpYourRankFPL. Let's get it. Bri, my guy, 8 game weeks in, we are here. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. The fun has started. Talk to me. Game week 8 review. How are you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good. We had a game week where we had a lower amount of games. We had some postponed games, but every single game that was played this week at least had a goal in it. Think that was good from a viewer standpoint, FPL wise. I thought it was decent. I thought it was a very interesting game week. We had a lot of different swings, especially as a lot of people hit the wild card button, me included. There were a lot of just interesting things that happened this game week. I love it. The template is getting nice and spicy. The first couple game weeks were a little bit boring. You know what I mean? Everyone's kind of rotating between the same 15-ish, 16-ish players. So now it's getting a lot more spicy. I liked it. I enjoyed it, man. How about you?
Not gonna lie, this one was probably one of my favorite game weeks so far. A gamble that has finally paid off. So, usually we're talking about getting it off our chests. What's been bothering us, or something good. And for once, I feel like there's something good I could get off my chest.
Nice.
Ming Sunday. Now, if anybody recalls, game week 8 preview, we talked about differential captaincy options. Son was on my list, differential captain, regardless of what Conte had to say about possible rotation. What does Son do? Comes on, plays 31 minutes and gets a hat trick. Right, let me tell you what was going on at the time that game was on. When I saw the lineup and I saw Son was benched, I tweeted, well, there goes my differential punt. Failed. I watched the first half of that game. As soon as Leicester scored, I said, wicked. Yes. No clean sheet for you Perisic holders and any of you Tottenham. Yes. But I was kind of upset when Tielemans missed that penalty. Thank God Lloris was off of his line. Thank God. But then just minutes later, Kane with the header. Beautiful cross by Kulu, by the way. Kane with the header. And I'm saying to myself, well, I don't have Kane. A lot of people wild-carded. It's going to be a long day. Right, guess what I did? I left my house. I went to go get groceries.
Wow.
When I came home, I didn't even see the match. When I came home, Son is doing the interview, mad at a match. I said, what the hell just happened here? I don't even have notifications on my phone, I open up the app and I see Son with 16 points at the time. I said, what in the... Yo, wild. I was having a ball, but the way that I felt before I left to go get groceries was just like, all right, whatever. This is
swing of emotion.
This is gonna be one
heavy emotional swing. Holy,
I couldn't believe it. But this is what I thought was gonna happen with possibly him getting into a game like Leicester. How many players have scored two or more goals against Leicester this year?
Bruh.
How many players have done that? That's what, at 3 so far?
Man, Leicester looks...
Yo, they're going down. I don't know any Leicester fans, but
Leicester looks...
Boy, oh boy. Even... Just
Rodgers has to lose his job.
Rodgers
has to lose his job.
The only
players are done.
The only player on that team who's doing anything of remote anything is Madison.
Madison.
He's the only one.
He's the only player on that team. Which is crazy, which is really crazy to think. It's crazy.
They have so much talent on that team, and they're not getting it together. And defensively, they're in shambles. And Ward is looking like he doesn't even belong in the championship. That's
Honestly,
what Ward is looking like.
I don't know how I started. Looking back, I don't know how I started the season with Ward. He is such a bad keeper. It's crazy.
He's terrible.
Like it's actually crazy how bad he is. It's crazy how bad he is.
He's still in my team.
it's crazy.
He's not just in my team. He's my starting goalkeeper.
Crazy,
like, he got 0 points. I don't know what he's still doing there, and I haven't even moved him out yet. This is nuts. But anything else? Game week 8 that was nice. I got to get one more thing off my chest.
Yeah, sure.
When I saw that everybody was wildcarding, because I knew this or next week would be the weeks that everyone wildcard. So I look in the mini leagues, I see how I'm just looking at a couple of teams. I'm like, damn, if things go bad, I'm screwed. I don't have the likes of Kane. I don't have Kulu. I didn't have certain defenders on my team. I'm not really watching defenders in this particular game week. I was more worried about Tottenham against Leicester. But when I'm looking at my team, I still have Gabriel Jesus. I still have Martinelli. I'm still holding on to the Aston Villa man, Leon Bailey.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to myself, my team is looking hella template going into the wrong week to look so template. But certain players come and they surprise you, like a Jesus. I wouldn't say necessarily surprise, but it's like sometimes you worry a little bit when you start to see a lot of transfer activity, and then you're almost like a sheep to a degree, right? You're kind of forgetting to play your own game in that moment. And, oh man, everyone's getting rid of him and they're picking up these guys and they're picking up this player, they're transferring this player. Maybe that's who I should be going for. And it kind of, if you don't have composure, it can really mess with you when it comes to this game. And then you start to panic. Look at me, I left my house. You're just like, it does something to you.
Yeah, you can't let that bother you too much. And you got to always remember to play your own game. You know what I mean? So, which is what you've ended up doing, right? Some of it a little bit by default, but you made some gambles and hey, it paid off for the game. Got to be happy with that, right? Not all the gambles pay off, as we know, but hey, it's good. It's good when it does. So we got to take it in stride, because we know this game can be a little bit crazy.
Absolutely.
For me, in terms of anything I want to get off my chest, honestly, I was actually I was quite happy with how the game week kind of unfolded for me, man. I mean, the wild card, I knew I ended up wild carding a week earlier than I initially planned, but I had no way around it. I had 4 players that weren't going to play. You know what I mean? Yeah. I had 4 players who had postponed games, so I kind of had to do what I had to do there. But even so, I mean, the team, of course, outperformed the team that I would have had going into the game week. So I can't be mad, not mad there at all. And, some of the transfers that I was maybe weighing up options against, I was weighing up Kane versus KDB. They kind of, just kind of net out, you know what I mean? Same, you know what I mean? They kind of net out being the same. So don't really have a complaint there. Weighed up Tony versus Mitrovic. They both take home 2 points. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there are just a couple of things that I looked at where I was quite happy with how it all played out. Soufal, it was either going to be Soufal or Patterson. Soufal is obviously, not the option there, but I didn't really care that they're both going to be on the bench long term, so I'm not really watching them, just a 1 game week. And then Kulu and Bowen, those were the other 2. At least Kulu got his assists. I was glad he started, which was what I thought was going to happen. And the expectation was, if he starts against Leicester, I think he'll get a return. It happened. Can't do nothing there, right? I mean, I'm happy with that. And Bowen was just my gamble versus just based on the fixtures. So honestly, overall, I was happy with how the game week went. Newcastle, I still can't get a clean sheet for my goalkeeper. That's probably the one thing I want to get off my chest. Like, I don't know what it is. I'm gonna just leave. For the rest of the season, I'm not touching my goalie.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, I love to move the goalkeeper around, but at least until the next wild card, I'm not touching the keeper. Pope is going to stay there unless he gets injured. Hopefully Newcastle keeps some clean sheets, but that's the only thing I really want to get off my chest, man. I was cool with how my team performed this week. I had no issues.
Yeah, it wasn't a crazy, it wasn't a bunch of games. There wasn't anything too wild. I don't really have too much to get off my chest, like I said, too, other than joy. I'm just joyous. It's been a long time coming. I guess the only thing I could really get off my chest was maybe not being brave enough to put the armband on Son.
Yeah.
I guess that could really be the only thing. But I would have felt, I don't know what I would have done at the time when I saw that he was benched. And at that time, I probably won't even watch the first half of that game. But all smiles here.
Solid.
How about we get into the game week? Let's start off with you showcasing the squad. How did your team do?
Let's do it. Perfect. So this is how the team was set up for game week 8 and how we performed. Played the wild card, of course. We scored 53 points. The average was 50. So really kind of an average game week in that regard, just slightly above average. A small green arrow, which I'm happy with. We're at least not going in the wrong direction. Starting at the back, Pope, no clean sheet. Again, I'm cursed for goalkeepers this year. It kind of is what it is. He at least, to be fair though, Pope has taken home my highest goalkeeper point tally of the season so far with 2. So for me, I'm cool with that. I'll take that. Cancelo, 9-pointer. I mean, I think Cancelo's playing incredible. He ends up getting the clean sheet as well as the bonus points, even though he didn't get an assist or a goal.
Right.
So, hey, man, good. I don't know how he's doing it, but
the chances. He's a magnet.
He's a magnet, man.
KDB. It's almost like, is he the KDB of City now when it comes to the bonus point magnet? Has he accumulated the most this year?
Man, I haven't looked at the stats for it, but he definitely could be, because he's getting a lot of crosses, he's getting shots, he's getting a lot of attempted assists. So he's going to keep running it up. His ownership is fairly high. He's over 50% owned. So most serious players have him in their teams. Kieran Trippier got the assist, even though they conceded the goal. Happy with that. Part of the reason why he was brought into the team. We looked at a lot of his stats last game week. I talked about how many chances he's creating, shots he's taking, crosses that he's putting in. So happy to see that come to fruition. West Ham defense, Soufal, 2 points. Honestly, West Ham looked terrible. I'm gonna be completely honest. West Ham looked really bad for a team like Everton, who's so poor offensively. To take the game to West Ham like they did, I think just kind of shows where they're at. Soufal was really bought to be on my bench, so kind of is what it is there. Jared Bowen brought in solely for the fixtures, looking for someone at his price point. He took home a whopping 2 points. He still hasn't scored all season.
Has he even assisted all season?
He hasn't done anything all season. So kind of is what it is there. He, again, is a stopgap. So wasn't really expecting much from him. And he didn't really deliver much. But he's really a stopgap in the team. We already have plans to get him out, as I'd mentioned last week. Kulusevski, a little bit of my X factor. He was really my punt going into this game week on the wild card. Brought him in, got the assist for Kane's goal. Happy with that. Andreas and Martinelli both blanked. I mean, amen. Andreas just kind of needed to play based on my bench. Kane gets the goal, takes home 10 points. Haaland scores again. Captaincy was on him. And Mitro surprisingly gets a blank, even though he had such a great fixture. But I've seen some fairly interesting stats that I don't think we had talked about last week for Mitrovic that could be something a little bit concerning, just in terms of how his XG has been on a consistent decline since the season kind of started, which is something a little bit weird to look at. But something I've been monitoring. So I'll keep that in mind as we get to the game week 9 review. Next week. And then the bench, there was really only one player on the bench, was Nico Williams. He took home 1 point. Iverson, Zaha, and James, the two latter with the postponed games. So they're of course not going to play it, and Iverson didn't get onto the pitch. And honestly, based on how Ward is playing, Iverson might be seeing the pitch soon, man. He might be getting into the stick soon, because I think Leicester has to change up something. They took home another, what was the game? 6-2? Yeah, they got another 6-2 loss, another 6 goals conceded. It's looking really crazy for Leicester in the back. So that's how the team performed. Very happy with it. Above average, kind of one of those game weeks that wasn't really a lot to talk about. I think if you wild carded, most people are in the same general, fairly general point prediction between like 50 to 55, depending on a handful of players. The big winners this week were anyone who, of course, took the gamble on the main guy to game week. So, and a couple other smaller ones like Saliba, if you had him in your team, he took home a big haul as well. But that's how the team did. Happy with it. Looking forward to game week 9. Think I'm set up nicely.
Yeah, definitely like it.
All right. Let's jump into your team. How the boys do on your end?
Team is up. Starting in the back, Mr. Ward. Still have him on the team. Still getting me zeros. Haven't moved him. Don't know why. I even tweeted something crazy, something like Ward clean sheet incoming. Super wild, bro. Super wild. But look at these fixtures coming up. Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, Crystal, Leeds, Wolves. I'm talking about fixture difficulty rating. I love the fact that it's all green. And like you said, just to echo, it's time for Ward to go on the bench. At this point in time, play Iverson.
Yeah, bro.
Put Ward on the bench. What do you have to lose? He's a terrible goalkeeper. Absolutely ass. He's so bad. But rounding out the back, I have Trippier, who I brought in to take a hit. I sold Trent Alexander-Arnold, got Trippier, 5 points. Very happy with that. Williams, a 1-pointer. It was either him or Ben Mee, and I'm so tired of Ben Mee. I don't know why I brought him into my team, so I had to put him on the bench. But they both got 1, so it wouldn't have mattered who I started. And then Cancelo, just like you, 9 points, solid. I played Andreas over Bailey, and here's why. I had Bailey in my team originally, but then thinking about set pieces, I said to myself, if Mitro does get his head on a ball and it goes in the net, it might be a cross from Andreas. I don't know. So I benched Bailey. So that's 2 points. I could have had a 70-point week. Don't want to be greedy here, but I could have had a 70-point week if I didn't change this on the day of the matches. Martinelli with 3. I'm actually thinking about selling him now. I think it might be time to get off the Martinelli train, especially considering Tottenham, Liverpool, and this blanking game week 12. I don't know if he's somebody who I necessarily want to hold, but we'll get onto that. KDB, the second player who I brought in, I sold Mo Salah. Brought in KDB. He got me the 10 points. Very, very happy. And then I brought in the man of the game week, Mr. 31 minutes himself, Heung-min Son, hat trick against my guy here, Mr. Ward. 19 points. Jeez. Man of the match. Jeez. Having me literally jumping for joy when I got back from the shopping center. Jesus. What a fantastic game week to finally see. This makes me feel a lot better about removing Tony out of my team when he got the hat trick. And by the way, what did Tony do against Arsenal? 0 shots on target. This is exactly why he has the last 4 game weeks, right? In his last 4 game weeks, he has 3 games where he has no shots on target.
That's crazy.
That's what I was looking at before. But for him to go up against that match where he had that whopping, it was kind of beautiful. It was a beautiful game. It just hurts me. It really hurts me because I thought I was making the right decision. But then he came back and I
You were
thought
at the
I
time.
was. I thought I was, but he punished me. It's all good. Going back, so these are the three players for the first time who I ever brought in and took a hit, all return. I don't think that's ever happened to me, at least not to this degree. Where we have, what is this? A total of that's 29 plus 5.
Yeah, 34 points. Yeah.
Jeez. Off taking the 4 for a 30, I feel good on that. That's a hit that I can live with. Mitrovic did nothing, held on to Jesus, 6 points, very happy. And then Haaland, he had the armband. I'm very happy that he played, because if he didn't play on the armband and had gone to Mitro, oh boy. Who did they face again? They were facing
Nottingham Forest.
Forest, nothing. Yeah. 3-2. Jesus.
And listen, that game, I actually watched that game, and the one thing I want to highlight from it as it pertains to Andreas, and this was something that I thought of after we had did the last pod, I'm actually a little bit concerned about Andreas's production now with Willian coming on the team. Willian they were at least at the very minimum, they were splitting corners, which was something Andreas was taking all the corners before, which was, he got an assist from a corner earlier in the season. And the second goal that Fulham actually scored was from a corner, but it was Willian who took that particular corner. So something for us to keep in mind. His value is definitely going to take a hit with Willian now being on the field.
I kind of have to agree with you. And we talked about when the transfer moves that have been made, and we brought up Willian. He's only what, 5.5?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to have to be somebody we look at.
Yeah.
We got to watch a couple more matches for sure. But instantly he comes into the team, he makes them better.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he does. He's a quality footballer who's played on top clubs. So how old is he?
30. He's in his 30. I want to say 32, 31, 32.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's that far out of his prime.
Yeah.
Around that 28, 29, like
you could tell his athleticism isn't, what it was 4 years ago, but his quality and his calm on the ball, he just seems like someone who's just been there, done that. Like,
right.
He just seems like he's more of a quality footballer than the people around him. That's just how it looks to me.
I absolutely agree. Just to wrap up here, Whaley on the bench with 3, me with 1, Estupinan, nothing, Iverson, nothing. So that's what the team looked like after taking the -4. My overall rank, I saw a green arrow. I'm now sitting at 512K for my overall rank. Feeling pretty happy about that. No chips used to date, only 1 hit taken to date. And I am thinking about perhaps activating the wild card for game week 9. That was the original plan. And I might do something a little different. So this is actually something I wanted to get into. I know it's early. What are your thoughts right now about game week 9? I know there's a break. I know. But what are your early transfer thoughts? What are you thinking about for the game week to come, October 1st? Wow, it seems so far.
It seems so far away. But honestly, my transfers were ones that I had already kind of etched in stone beforehand. I kind of already know what I'm doing with my team and how we should be getting set up. And one, it was always for Kulusevski to leave the team. He was coming in as a 1-week punt because I wanted Madison for their upcoming fixture run. Hey, hindsight's 2020, but I could have just brought in Madison from the jump. It wasn't a big swing, but it would have been an extra 2 points. Madison gets 7.
And a transfer saved.
And transfer saved, and Kulusevski gets 5. Hey, that could have been the move. But whenever I'd look back at it, I don't know even if I had brought in Madison, if I would have even started him going against Tottenham. So it was one of those things where I just didn't want that headache. I went with Kulusevski. It is what it is. So I've always planned to remove either Kulusevski or Bowen for one of them for Madison, and then kind of take it from there and see where things net out. Now with Son doing what he did, Kane is obviously going to be starting. Kulusevski's playing well. Richarlison's playing well. I don't want anything to do with that Tottenham midfield. Listen, I'll leave it to Conte to figure that out. Who starts? Whoever he starts is going to be good, just not good for my FPL team. So I will be most likely removing Kulusevski and just bringing in Madison, take away the headache. I don't want to worry about whether or not he's going to start, get 90 minutes, get 30 minutes. I don't even want to worry about that. Madison is Leicester's best player. If they're going to do anything, if they're going to save Brendan Rodgers' job, Madison is going to need to be involved. And so I'm bringing him in. And that's probably the biggest, probably the major transfer move that I'm going to be looking to make. Right. If anything else comes up, like a potential injury, of course, we're going to be watching for that with the international games going on. But that's probably how I'm going to set up from a transfer standpoint. And I think this week is going to be a tricky one in terms of captaincy. City is playing United. I'm not saying that United is the best defensive team out there, but it is a big derby game. It is at home at the Etihad for them. So something to consider there, but it could also be one of those weeks where captaincy, we might need to look elsewhere for captaincy. Arsenal is playing Spurs. Do you want to captain one of them? Question marks. Right. Chelsea's playing Crystal Palace. I wouldn't advise you to captain a Chelsea player. Liverpool is playing Brighton. That could be a little bit tricky, but they have a new coach. Are they going to be as strong defensively? And then, of course, there's Haaland there as well. So it's one of those weeks where, captaincy is not as clear cut as it normally is.
Yeah, I especially that captaincy comment for sure. But I definitely like how you brought up the Tottenham debacle now. Conte has what a good problem to have. Right? That's
what he said he didn't have, right? He was complaining about, so now he has it.
Right. So that makes it tricky. A lot of people have already rushed and transferred Son into their team. Now, who I thought was a 1 week punt on my team looks like they may be staying. And because the players who I brought in on punts, KDB, Son,
he can stay. Both can stay.
Now, all of a sudden, I'm like, what do I do? I'm thinking about possibly activating the wild card, but at the same time, do I need to? But if I don't activate the wild card, I'm going to run out of game weeks to use it kind of before I lose it.
Yeah, gotcha.
So you have to really use the wild card before the World Cup, or else what was the point of really having it? That means I haven't really done a good enough job to gamble, unless I want to treat the wild card as a free hit before. And I do
another one.
Why would I do that? Like, I don't know. That seems weird to me. Here are my early thoughts. I think 3 at the front might not be it. I think I may downgrade one of my attackers and actually strengthen my midfield in order to play a threemium team. Gotcha. Son, Haaland, KDB.
Gotcha.
Leave some money in the bank so that I'm still able to jump to Salah if he turns it around. Be able to upgrade my goalkeeper, maybe a Saw. Saw's the one who I have my eye on. I'm not looking at Raya. I don't think Brentford is good defensively.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at Brighton. Some tough fixtures coming up. I don't think they're going to keep ticking. I can't get a City goalkeeper. I pay the extra, but I already have City players.
Yeah.
I'm not really looking to invest in Alisson at this particular time. I don't like what I'm seeing from Liverpool defensively. Not looking to invest there. Don't like what I'm seeing defensively from Chelsea, from Mendy's. No. Fofana is somebody who I'm thinking about down the road, but I got to see something change. The only defense that I'm really willing to invest in, I can't, because I already have their players in other positions. I'm really only looking at Man City. Man U, Dalo Malasia, or am I pronouncing his name correctly?
Yeah.
4.5, 4.4, tempting. Fixtures not so tempting to start, but maybe in a couple of game weeks, that starts to look good. So I'm a little confused. I want to bring Madison into my team, and to bring Madison into my team, currently, I would have to downgrade my attacker, but I can upgrade the likes of a Martinelli. Like I said earlier in the video, I don't like Martinelli's two tougher fixtures coming up, plus the blank game week. So 1 in 4 game weeks is kind of where I see Martinelli. I know he's gone up price. I got value tied into him, but it's crazy what you can do with a team when you don't have Salah, and then all of a sudden you're not thinking about funds anymore.
Yeah,
because Salah was holding up so much money. Building a freemium team without Salah actually wasn't as difficult as you probably originally thought.
Yep.
Right. So those are my early transfer news. My early thoughts on transfers going into game week 9, which is a week and a half plus away from the time that we're recording this video. So I'm pretty excited. I want to see players drop in price, but I'm not seeing it. I've been paying attention.
It's been very slow.
It's been super slow. I know some managers are like, "Whoa, this guy hasn't dropped yet." Okay, and they're kind of they're holding on. But guys, your guys are gonna drop soon. Don't worry, it's dropping. I'm a pounce and I'm gonna pit them up on my wild card.
Amen. No, I completely agree with you. It's good to be watching the market, especially if you're on a wild card. Just for the viewers, we will be doing a wild card video before the end of the international break to just give you an idea of some thoughts there. Maybe we throw in, a little bit about what our teams are going to look like. You're of course going to be working on your wild card team as well over the break, AC. So if you end up doing it,
possibly, yeah, because I haven't I haven't actually activated it yet, but I'm probably going to.
Fair. So we'll be able to do that before the international break comes to a close. And of course, we'll be doing a game week 9 preview as well. So with that, please ensure that you subscribe to the video so that you can get the notifications on when those videos drop, because you want that assistance with the wildcard team, especially if you're looking for a couple of punts and some interesting picks. We'll be able to provide those details to you and, help you up that rank, get those green arrows coming in. Also, if you're new here, please be sure to like the video. You can follow us at Up Your Rank FPL on Twitter. That's where you're going to get a lot of the up-to-date news, a lot of the day-to-day changes that happen to the team prior to the game week. And you can just be sure to catch us for the next one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Peace. I will catch you in the next video. Be sure to like and subscribe.